Bless up. You already know how we do around this time. Let it be that we get that midday refresher, jump start and move this thing right. So that everything comes in its accord. Y'all already know who this is. This being a humble servant coming back through so that we could do the damn thing and make it so that we make it traction in the right direction. Let's just say, have you found forgiveness for yourself? Have you gone about forgiving others who have done you wrong? And have you just make it so that forgiveness become a way of life? Because too many times we go about looking and we see that we're filled up with so much resentment and anger. But like I tell everybody, why are you angry when there's so much to be grateful for? Why are you bitter when everybody else is smiling? You see, yesterday does not go about dictating what's going to happen today. Only that you go about forgiving yourself for the things that you've been through. And when we stop putting the connotations of good or bad on things and just go about seeing the beauty and the lesson, then we're going to be able to move forward. But along that note, like I told y'all, my brother usually send me these little pro tip quotes in regards to life. And I love it because it has an exchange of energy and certain way of looking at things. But one of the things that I wanted to go about adding, well, let me give you the quote first. Then I'm going to show you why I want to go about adding these things. In life, one see a mountain up on the horizon, but if a person keeps going, it's only a matter of time before that mountain becomes the backdrop. I'm paraphrasing here, not spot on exactly what the quote, but yes, the mountain will become the backdrop. But in order for that mountain to become the backdrop, one must go about having courage. And courage is something that is stemmed from a belief, conviction. The same way you must have courage in going attacking that mountain is the same way you must have courage in forgiveness. These things take an act of courage. And without courage, to go about forgiving yourself, to go about forgiving others, then it's only a simplicity of thought that leaves one just visiting nice theories. So let it be that your actions are of courage, and so that you go about finding that forgiveness despite how others come across you, despite what they go about doing to you. let's just take it back. And in taking it back, hopefully you get to see where I'm going with this. In the Navy, there are certain departments where there's not too many brothers, but everything is purposefully done. So I'm I make that comment in regards to life. Everything is purposely done in regards to life, not the Navy. The Navy does a bunch of feel good, seems good, we just gonna run with it kind of characters. But the reason I go about bringing up this in this regards is being a brother, I got all the shit entity jobs, the shitty jobs that nobody else wanted to do. And I looked at it as, okay, I'm just paying my dues. But when it came time to advancement, the same shitty jobs that I was getting was only going about preparing me because I was dealing with equipment that was pertaining to the job. They thought they was doing me an injustice by giving me the jobs that nobody else wanted to do. But little did they realize they was going about doing me a favor. You see, life will do things that is beneficial. It may not look that way at first, but if you keep going with it, you're going to understand that the food is actually helping you get forward in life and so forth. So when that time came that my advancement was better than my peers, I couldn't have resentment or anger because what I was doing in that job was actually going about helping me get the knowledge that I needed. And by me attaining that knowledge, it propelled and pushed me forward in my career in the Navy. And I'm going to tell you this, being young, arrogant, conceited, whatever the case may be seen as, it takes a real man to go about accepting direction from somebody younger than them. And with the pushback, it sort of helped me understand how life works. Because everybody say they want good for you, as long as it don't go about affecting them. You see, there's certain prejudice, racial undertone that the military goes about carrying on in order for it to go about function. It's a cultural, systemic play that as long as certain people are in power, then the system rolls good. But as long as something comes to threaten that nature of that structure, that's where the resentment starts to take place. He should not be advancing as fast as he should have, and he should not be in charge of all the things that he's in charge of, because he doesn't play the game the way we want the game to be played. So it forced me to go about adapting a mentality in order for me to go about surviving. You see, me and my daughter had a conversation the other day in regards to living and surviving. So I had to ask her, what is survival? She said it's living. So I said, what is living? She said, just carrying on. I said, nah, hear me out when I say this. Survival is doing something outside of your character just to go about making it. Living is being at peace with the situation. So when I became that person in the military, I had to make sure that I was 10 steps ahead of everybody because I know they're gunning for me. I had to make sure that all my logs was good, all my personnel that worked for me was A-okay. That despite the treatment, despite the environment, it allowed me the latitude of developing a no holds bar mentality. It showed me that you can't take nothing for granted because they know they're coming and I know that they're coming. So in order for this game to go about being propelled forward, I have to stay on my job. But I can't be bitter about it because if I get bitter, Fortnite, hey, what up, man? If I get bitter about it, then it's going to leave me at a disadvantage. The only way I'm going to go about making progress is that I have to stay on my P's and Q's. You see, you can't find bitterness or resentment towards the ones that's hating against you. Man, everything is blessed, man. Just right here, putting out that midday inspiration, trying to get everybody to look at life from a perspective that goes about promoting growth with starting with self, you see. And once we go about promoting that growth with ourselves, don't nothing stand in the way. And if we just let consistency be constant in our life and not be swayed by things, we are the building blocks, my man. We are the building blocks to life. So everything is blessed, man. Can't complain. Just getting, trying to stay right, you dig? And trying to stay right, looking for ways to go about improving because we always have to go about trying to get better at what we're doing. Some of y'all, hey, oh, my man, all right, bless up to that, man. Hey, check out the podcast on the channel. They got some good contents in regards to dealing with self, depression, anxiety, loneliness. One of my biggest things is for people to go about finding forgiveness for themselves, not allowing people to go about abusing them, and so forth, you follow. So it's just trying to spread positivity. That's the main aim of this channel. It's more to spread positivity and for us to go about changing our outlook. And once we change our outlook, then the rest is going to be history because we're going to put ourselves in the driver's seat to make sure that it do what it do. And life will be blessed. So going back to this Navy thingy, despite being young, people hey, bless up, man, and all, hey, may all things be righteous with you. You follow, go ahead and get that rest. Thanks for the support. Thanks for tuning in. Just go ahead and check out the channel whenever you have a chance. Check out some of the videos. And then if there's anything that you would like to go about speaking on, tune back in on the live or shoot me a message and I'll gladly address that because the same way how you feel, there's other people who go about feeling the same exact way. So my blessings be on to you, brother. So when I take my siblings with me on a base, I'm this little young ass kid, baby face, but I got supervisor uniforms on Dudes, cats don't even know me, but they hate. And that's what's wrong with society. Because if it ain't them, they don't want good for nobody. If I see somebody younger than me propelling at a rapid pace, making it, doing some things with themselves in a positive, conscientious type way, I'm congratulating that. I'm not here to hate on no person because they did something that I didn't do. We all had the same opportunity. It's just that my stars lined up and for some reason theirs didn't. But for you to go about hating on somebody, it's because you have resentment within yourself. And having resentment within yourself, it leaves a void that even though your blessings are coming, trying to reach out to you, that you will go about turning away from your blessings. And that's not what life is about. You see, like at the inception of this live, I was talking about when I joined the Navy, they gave me all the garbage jobs because I guess they thought they was gonna break my spirit or make me complain and whine. But when they realized that the jobs that nobody else wanted was actually going about helping me on my advancement, and them and their partners that was there were still stagnant and still in the same place, then it didn't become so cool no more. You see, people gonna fight you just for pure ignorance, but you can't allow their ignorance to go about dictating your pace. You must learn to go about forgiving a fool because he doesn't know he's a fool. You see, so as time goes on, it built up a resilience that afforded me the latitude of seeing that people are driven by negativity, even if they don't even know why they're being negative. But you must not allow that to go about hindering your progress. You must forgive them. And in forgiveness, you must look at what hurts because the quickest way for one to go about finding comfort is wrestling with the discomfort of life. You see, not everybody is your friend. Not everybody gonna want good for you. You gotta fight for that. You're gonna have to earn that. And once you start earning these things, then you're gonna see that that fool over there don't even know what he's saying. So I gotta forgive you. As long as nobody put their hands on you, take the little bit you got in your pocket, words is words. We need to stop giving words so much power. And validation. One of the key aspects to forgiveness is validation. But I'll say it and I'll keep saying it. Validation comes from within. Validation does not come from outside. Despite what life try to go about promoting, validation comes from within. Validation is how you feel about yourself. Because a man that stands upright, despite what he goes through in life, the world could call him a piece of shit. As long as he carries on with the same energy that he started with, the world could not tear that man down. But a man that is on top and the lowest of low calls him a piece of shit, it will disrupt that man's power and energy and brings him to the ground. Corfo Gale DP Celis. Okay. All right. Um, bless up. Okay. So the validation will go about disrupting some of the things that you're holding on to. And some of these worthlessness that we're going about holding on to, it does us no good. I'm gonna let you in on a little nugget, excuse me, in that there's many ways to go about doing things. But the simplest of these two will shall be given on to you. And here is why. Everything that we go through in life is a lesson. And the only options that the lesson will always give you is that either you're going to learn this lesson the easy way or you're going to learn this lesson the hard way. But let me expand upon that. You see, some of us are built up with resentment, pride, ego, arrogance, and believing that the hatred that's within my heart will drive me. But little do they know that hatred that you go about holding on to, that fuels you, will be the death of you. Because the karmic law teaches what we put out into the universe shall come right back around at us. And because we have had so much hatred for so many years to innocent people, that we are creating a debt in which that debt will be paid. Life gives no warning when it goes about doing what it's supposed to do. Only that it's time for you to learn the lesson. And when retribution comes for everything that you have done onto other people, because if bitterness is your way of life, you will have to pay for that. If anger is your way of life, you will have to pay for that. Is negative comments towards others, you will have to pay for that. But the easy way in doing this, remember I told you, there's two ways that this lesson gets played out, is that you do it the hard way or the easy way. And the easy way is to go about allowing every situation to go about showing you what it is that you're supposed to learn. You see, when we come to a place that somebody has gone about ill-treating, speaking ill of us, attacking or slandering, or just downright being abusive for something that we had no part in dealing with, then what this person speaks of is a lie. But we could engage in that lie and trying to defend ourselves, or we could just let the lie play out. And one thing that is very hurtful is that when people go about slandering your name in a lie, because it diminishes your character and it forces you to have to defend yourself. Slander is a bad thing. If you do not know what you speak of, it's best you keep quiet. But the perception is just a gravitas to somebody's soul. And in that, they carry on in this way because they look at it from a negative connotation. Misery loves company. If my life is worthless, they're on a damaging course to go about destroying everything else around them. But in taking a step back, you will see that some people are just of destructive nature. Do not go about entertaining destructiveness, for it does nothing to build. And because it does nothing to build, we should not be falling victim to people who go about slandering or trying to invite us in to their world. Einstein said it best: do not go about arguing with an idiot. For if you go about arguing with an idiot, you will lose. So when you go about applying that to your daily walk, you will see that you must forgive those who don't know better, because when you know better, then you can start going about doing better. But if you're not socially aware of what's going on, you will be dragged to everything that's happening. Do not let yourself become a ping pong ball being bounced all over the place. Because the one thing that we must all be careful of is that any man that doesn't have a sense of direction will be drawn to anything. Don't let that be you. Do not allow it to take place in your life. You must know why you are doing what you are doing, so that everything that you go about doing in your life, it's of good conscience. It's of an openness, that you're considerate of others. You're not being selfish in your acts, and that you are looking from a perspective that forces you to grow. You see, we have become too complacent in the way how we go about doing things. Life is not at a standstill. Life is forever expanding. Why don't we go about applying that same principle and notion to ourselves? Why don't we go about looking for ways in which to go about getting better? That's what forgiveness is. Forgive yourself for your missteps. Forgive yourself for yesterday. Learn from it, true. But do not let it go about holding you captive. Everything in life is a lesson. And until you learn that lesson, you will be doing things the hard way. You see, forgive yourself. Forgiveness is needed in order for one to go about progressing and moving up in this world. Despite what you do, you could do 1,000 goods. One misstep, you will be demonized for the rest of your life. Nobody will have remembered the 1,000 good that you did. But why don't you just go about holding on to the ideology that forgiveness is the key? Forgiveness is about letting go. Forgiveness is not about holding on to a worthlessness and a misconcept and a misjudgment of things. Forgiveness is about giving yourself a second chance. Give yourself that chance. You owe that shit to yourself. Nobody owes you anything in this lifetime. So why don't you start off with forgiving yourself? And once you start to forgive yourself, life and the universe will start to forgive you. But until then, it's just ring around the roses. And you already know how that ends. Before you know it, in the blink of an eye, you're going to be looking back like, man, I'm in a rocking chair and I'm still feeling the same way. Ain't nothing worthwhile about that. Let today be the day that you go about forgiving yourself. Let it be that you seek forgiveness in your heart for the shit that you have done wrong, for the shit that people have done wrong against you. Everything in life is just to build you up. Hey, Miles, all right, right on, brother. Thanks for the word. Okay, right on, brother. And forgiveness is a self-starter, man. Forgiveness is a key. Many of y'all don't realize how powerful forgiveness is. Forgiveness is that key to get out of jail, because too many of us have been held bondage by the shit that has happened yesterday. You see, excuse me for that. There's this old connotation. You embark on a journey, and as you're embarking on this journey, you know not what this journey is about. And the ones around you, they know no better, or else you wouldn't have embarked on this journey. But the thing that I come to say is that this journey was just for you. It shows how unique and truly special you really are. But because you don't know better, life is going to show you. And you have a lot to learn. And since you have a lot to learn, I will teach you. You don't go about taking the things that you need to go about taking. So you suffer along the way. But as you're suffering along the way, one could go about saying to themselves, why don't I start acquiring the things that I need? Because at the inception of this journey, I did not bring the right tools. But now that I'm on this journey and I'm starting to see better, why not go about picking up these things as I'm going along? That's what I'm reiterating, that we could do this journey the easy way or we could do it the hard way. You see, some of us believe that life doesn't give everybody a fair shake. Life is what you go about making of it. And if you hold on to the principal idea that life is hard, it'll be hard. If you go about holding on to the concept that life is a school, then you will go about learning. But too many of us, we become disorientated because of our precepts and our ego. This should not be happening to me. This should be, I'm a good person. And the thing about it is, we are the ones that go about putting the classification of what's good or what's bad. But because everybody wants to see themselves as a good person, they don't believe that anything, according to things, bad should happen. And because nothing bad should happen to them, because they're a good person, according to them. Nobody gave that classification because we all quantify things from our own perspective. But there's nothing good, there's nothing bad. Everything is just a lesson. It's what you go about taking away from that lesson that goes about quantifying it. The world doesn't give a damn if you feel you're a good person. What's going to happen is going to happen. Nothing can stop that. But what do you do after it has happened? Do you go about blaming life for all your missteps? Because life didn't force you to make that choice. You made that choice, you see. But when that realization comes in that our mindset is not of a healthy mindset, then it forces us to say, damn, am I really a good person? Now, we need to get out of our own ways. We need to realize that in order for us to go about progressing, in order for us to go about becoming that building block that we need to become, we have to, we must, it's dire that we go about letting go of some of the things that has happened to us, that is plaguing us, that is triggering us in order to go about receiving our blessing. Like they had this little thing. They had this dude, right? He started off on his journey. I read this thing a long time ago, but it just couldn't erase my brain. And they had this cat, this dude walking with his cross. And this dude walking with his cross. And this dude starts complaining. And he's like, oh man, this is too much. Only if God would give me an option for me to go about picking my cross. So God says, okay. God tells him, I'm going to take you to this little room. And taking you to this little room, you have the option to put down your cross and go ahead and pick up any other cross that you want. So this dude thinking that he hit the jackpot. He's like, oh man, that's what I'm talking about, God. You know what's up. So this dude is scanning the room and he's seeing some crosses. The cross so big that he can't even see the cross beams. So he becomes socially aware that, whoa, okay. And as he's carrying on, he said, God, 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 he yells out with joy. I see the cross that I want. So God is like, where is it? He said, it's right there in that corner. So God let the dude know that that's the same cross you put in right there in that corner. But the reason I go about saying this is the quicker we come to make peace with what's going on in our life, the quicker we stop seeing it as being a burden. We're in a situation for a reason. Every situation is to go about teaching us something. And when we stop blaming everybody else and start by taking ownership of our actions, when we start by allowing the true nature of just accepting what's going on, then we're able to use that key. Remember I told you, forgiveness is the key. Despite whatever situations, predicament that you find yourself faced in, you must come to peace with it. You must not let you become angry, bitter, or resentful. These are the things. Use that key. Forgiveness is that key to get yourself to a better place of looking at things. Forgiveness is that key that you need in your life. Why not use it? Ain't nothing better than it. It'll get you out. It'll free you. It'll free you from the matrix. The matrix is a system designed and it's programming to have you walk, talk, act in a certain accord. But the thing that the matrix is scared of is you. Because in your conception and design, you were perfect. But it's fighting to go about holding you in prison to a concept and way of thinking. It wants you to stay angry. It wants you to stay bitter. It wants you to be resentful. It does not want you to go about appreciating life for its many blessings. You see? So, this is a journey in which upon that if we would only rid ourselves of these negative connotations and forgive ourselves for what we have been through, then it will take us to a higher elevation in how we go about doing things. Like I said earlier, check out the channel. There's tons of positive information in regards to dealing with depression, loneliness, attracting toxic people in your life. There's volumes on addressing forgiveness. That's one of my biggest things because I need for people to go about forgiving themselves. There's self-reflection in regards to how we go about looking at things, how do we go about applying ourselves to things and not taking things for granted. Whenever you get a chance, check out the channel. There's tons of information regards to alcoholism, drug abuse, for little girls to hold pride in themselves, self-worth. There's tons of information. I started off a podcast, and the podcast, it's something new for me, so I'm not too familiar, but I'm learning as I go, and that's the concept I always try to invoke on everybody. Give yourself that chance to learn, because every day you're living, you're supposed to be taking something away. Don't let it be that you go about living 100 years and they ain't learn a damn thing. Nah, you wasting time. Every day, try to pick up something. There's tons of worthwhile information that's going around in this world. Not all information is good information, but hey, right, Mike. But okay, we have a comment from old Mike Lee. Easy to forgive, but hard to forget. The forgiveness part is that's the part that is beauty within itself, because whatever the lesson that took place, whatever hurt, whatever trauma came out of that, that was to go about showing you something. Now, in that showing you something, The reason that it's hard to forget, it's only because you haven't come to the full understanding of what that lesson is about. You see, there's many things that happen in a day, but it's only the hurtful part that we hold on to. Don't don't overload your CPU, your computer, your mainframe, your brain, whatever the way you want to go about looking at it, with worthlessness. You see, you've been through the lesson. Look at what you need to take away from the lesson. Don't give that lesson power over you, because that means you hadn't come to terms in learning that lesson. Once you've gone through it, extract meaning out of it, and that is the key. You see, we don't have to hold on to every traumatic experience. We're piling up the CPU with worthlessness. There's more important things that we have to put in there. There's more joy in the day. True that. That just came into my today. Okay, bless up, man. Confirmation. Hey, that's what the spirit is all about, brother. Hey, just keep on making that progress in your life. And you'll see that by invoking on that energy, it will take you to a different journey. You dig? So don't harp on worthlessness. And that's what I'm trying to go about telling people. The resentments, the bitter. No, that is worthlessness. That shit has already happened. Some of us are harping on things that happened 30, 40, 50 years ago. And for what? It's showing that you still haven't learned the lesson. You just need to extract meaning out of that lesson so that you can go about growing and moving in a positive direction. All right, thanks a lot there, brother. Bless. For Galich deep shit. Okay. And we need to forgive doesn't mean you need to hang with those people that hurt you. Whoa. Donnie, man. I'm gonna tell you something. I love it. I love the comment. Hey, it brings energy to the conversation and that connotation. Don't ever go about hating anybody in life. You see? Don't ever call yourself being bitter by anybody in life. But I'm gonna tell you this now. Don't allow people to go about mistreating you. Don't do it. Don't. You're far too beautiful of a person to go about doing that. And the reason I'm gonna start off in this connotation is to show you this. People misconstrue forgiveness with tolerance. When we tolerate BS, BS takes place. But a lot of times, we want to go about merging the two. No. We must never allow. I grew with my mom and my stepsister. Miles. Okay. Okay, let me go ahead and address this thing with Donnie first, and I'm going to get to you, Miles. I love the energy that's coming through. Now, if somebody is coming at you in a foul nature that is causing you to have negativity being brought out, leave it alone. Not everybody is for everybody. Despite what you think you might have in touch with that person. Certain times, we're just not on the same level. And just because we're not on the same level, maybe it's best I go my way, you go your way, until we go about rekindling that. So forgiveness has nothing to do with tolerating. People believe that because I forgive you, I must tolerate you. No. Once you've forgiven yourself, you leave that person where they're at. They have to do the work for themselves, you see? Because many times we'll be like, oh, I forgive you. And then in a sporadic moment, The person goes about doing the same thing, and then the same response comes about. Oh, but I thought you said you forgive me. No, you can't worry about somebody else and how they go about viewing things. If you have forgiven that person, leave that person where they're at, wish them no ill will, and carry on in your direction in life. Now, Miles, there's things that goes about invoking anger, but my word of concern to you would be, what is it that concerns you, that angers you, that irritates your spirit with your mom and your stepsister? Because is it what they're saying? Is it that they're trying to go about being harmful to you? There's a lot of different varying factors that come into play. But the thing that I would like to say to you is this: from this moment forward, if it's anything that they're saying, have the apply yourself like a raincoat. I know that doesn't make sense, but you'll understand in a minute. You see, a raincoat, water falls on it, but it never sticks to it. All it does is run off the back of the raincoat. Now, some people are just negative, and all they have to say is negative. Like, I made it live the other day, just because some people come across in a negative connotation, that doesn't mean it deserves a response. So if your mother and your stepsister are just being combative in a vocal manner, leave them where they at. You can't change people. And this is not about forgiveness that you could go about applying to other people's lives. This is about forgiveness that you're going to apply to your life. That's what this forgiveness is about. Because when we start with self, our raincoat's okay. Yeah, so have that mentality. Despite what people say about you, trajectory, the way how people speaks is only how they go about feeling about themselves. We are the ones that goes about ingesting that and letting that become a part of us, you see. But if we would just have the raincoat mentality, no matter how hard it's pouring out there raining, you're not going to get wet because the rain just going to repel it and let it flow off. But because we give so much merit and credence to worthlessness, we get sucked into that world. And by being sucked into that world, it damages us, because hurt people like to go about hurting other people. You are far too beautiful of a person to allow yourself to be feeling anger when there's so much to be joyful for. You have breath, you have life, you have ambition. Holy Spirit, be my raincoat. Okay, you really like that one, huh? Okay, that's what's up. And once we start applying these concepts to ourselves, then we gonna go about seeing that the the wellness will start to be around us. And once the wellness is around us, then we could embark on our journey. We can't let what other people say or how they treat us go about dictating our pace in life. That's not what life is about. Like I told you earlier, forgiveness is a key. Use the key. Release yourself from anger. All these negative things. Use the key. The key is priceless. With forgiveness, there's nothing you can't get out of. Use the key. So, like I was saying, I want y'all to go about checking out the channel. There's a lot of worthwhile content. And just from the live, you could basically get a sense of what majority of the content's going to be pertaining to. It's about self-reflection, and so forth. Miles, okay, I thought you was gone. So I'm hoping that I touched on whatever the issue was in regards to moms and the siblings and so forth. Because we just have to go about looking and seeing what it is that life is trying to show us. We can't bend life to our wanting or desires. Life is going to be life. You're going to run into negative people from now to the day you leave this earth. But you can't have them turn you into something that you're not. You see, you are a beautiful person. Hold on to that beauty. Cherish that beauty. Fight to keep that beauty. Misery loves company. So, looking and just seeing that it's best that we go about using that forgiveness key. That forgiveness key is where it's at. And it ain't nothing that it can't unlock. So this is one of the things in regards to that. I want to reach out to you guys and asking a question. Every year, as the inception of this YouTube thing, I have been selling calendars. And in selling the calendars, I usually take the proceeds to donate to the less fortunate. One year we did buying blankets for the homeless people. That was the year of the COVID, and that was well received. The next year we did relief funds for the children of Sudan. And that is what is needed to be provided for the youth today, brother. The key to the kingdom is forgiveness. Mark Witt. Okay. Respect that. Mark has, I don't know if you guys can see all the live chat, but I just get on here and I try to promote positivity and so forth. But every year we go about selling calendars, and if there's anything in your neighborhood or your community, or if you know if there's anybody, not anybody, any group that could go about benefiting from the calendar sales, put it in a comment so that way at the end of the year we go about writing out a check. And this is not an LLC, this is not tax free, so there's no benefits, but just go about promoting one human being helping another, because that is a movement that I really strong about in promoting, that life is about ups and downs. And the moment we start to go about taking on the responsibility that we are to care for one another. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that once we go about saying that we're to care for one another and go about uplifting one another, then the movement will take shape. This is a movement in which is we are to see each other as one. And once we go about starting to see each other as one, a oneness will start to take shape, because then I will no longer see the next person as a race, as a religion, as a politician. I will just see that person and embrace that person just for that person, because we're all children of the Most High. And until we start acting like it, the division will go about ruining it for our existence on planet Earth. So if there's any ideas, if anybody out there would like to go about supporting to the calendar sales and so forth, reach out, let me know if there's any topics that I could go about touching on. Put it in the comment section. That'll be something for a future live, or if it's pertaining to forgiveness, that'll be something that is worthwhile expressing and going forth. So let it be that every day we give ourselves that chance to go about living our best life. We have to take the necessary steps in order to go forth in life. Life is not a gift that is given. It's earned. And only when you come to realize it's by the things that you do, where you carry yourself, goes about displaying and putting forth that energy into it. I can listen to you all day. Oh, thanks. That's what I'm talking about. Bless up. One of the things that was crazy to me in regards to getting familiar with YouTube was that I started off trying to listen to other people's channel, but they were all scripted, and I didn't like anything that was scripted. I needed something that was purely from the heart and just revealing the truth. And all the videos sounded the same, and that was something that really irritated me, because we're not all the same. We're unique in how we go about looking at life, how we go about applying life. And the way I say things might catch your attention, but it might also give meaning to somebody else. But if there's a scripted way of doing things, that had really got under my skin, and that was something that I just didn't like. So that was something to go about, just help promoting positivity and reaching out to people. And in reaching out to people, it was more along the notion that I wanted to spread positivity. And in spreading positivity was the main goal, just to have people come to know and appreciate and embrace who they are, because that is not something that is promoted far too much. Jesus prayed, and glory which thou gavest me, I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one. Of one blood made all the nations. So yes, I agree, we should be one. Mark, you read the scriptures, huh? Okay, that's what's up. Love that, man. But the world does not carry on in that accord, and that is my problem, because whenever we go about inflicting religion, we go about inflicting race, ethnicity, we will never see each other as being one. We will always be something else. And unless we go about seeing ourselves as the children of the Most High, I don't care where you were born, I don't care what language you speak, we're all children of the Most High. And unless we start to go about treating each other in that manner, there will be wars. And some will feel superior while others feel inferior. That's my problem. We're all the same. We're one and all the same. That is my problem. I need to create an equality. No more division. So that's where it goes forth. Okay, bless up. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And unless we eradicate this way of thinking, our kids will be infringed on an ideology that is not healthy. We must take the necessary steps. We must start a movement to go about putting things in place so that the way of thinking, the way of carrying on, that our outlooks, our compassion towards one another is of healthiness. But if we are at war with ourselves, how could I ever go about loving you? We have never met face to face, but I must hold the same conviction and love that I have for myself, for you. You see where the beauty comes in forgiveness. If I don't go about ill-treating myself, why should I ill-treat you? If I don't look at myself in a negative connotation, why should I apply the same to you? You see, the prayer is a beautiful thing. Our Creator, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation. You see, but I also wrote one as well. I come forth humble as a child. Be still and know thyself. That's what I'm talking about. I come forth humble as a child, only wanting to be filled with your love, so that love carries me as I go forth. But I must come to love the divine as I come to love every person that I've ingratiated about. It's never to talk ill about anybody. It's never to look at anybody with a side eye. It's never to go about trying to steal from another. No. But it's only to go about embracing each and every person as they go forth. Love covers all. But the thing in that love covers all, the one of the conversation that me and my brother have is that too many people, they go about having a perception of what love is. Now, if I was to reach out and ask many of you, do you know what love is? Put it in the comments so that we can go about dissecting this. Because the only way we progress in life is when we go about visiting the truth. And too many of us do not go about knowing the truth. We believe Webster, but not having examined it or gone about diving into it, then we see that everything that I've believed has only been a perception. You see. So what is love? Tell me your definition of love so that we may go forth and see. So that we may go forth and learn together. So that we may go about expanding upon our knowledge and being able to go about applying it. You see. Is it love that you should care for your enemies? Is it love that you should go about denying yourself for the betterment of others? Or is it love that you should just give and never ask for anything in return. Which of these would you say is love? Is it being selfless? Is it being selfish? Is it being one directional? Or is it just being open? Which of these goes about displaying love? Love is to treat people equally. Okay, Miles. Okay, Miles said love is to treat people equally. What does it mean to be equal, Miles? Okay, true love is treating others as we want to be treated. Now, that's a perception base. We have to be careful there. Love is to treat people equally. That's perception. True love is treating others the way we want to be treated. No better love is laying down your life for another. The first part is a perception. Love is kind. Okay. Show love and don't expect it back because it's a feeling, not a deal. Perception. Okay. Love is not boastful. Okay. 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 You guys are on to something. But let me put it in this connotation. If I was to show you that love is an energy. Now, energy takes on all kind of forms. Love is protecting, love is destroying, love is what needs to be done. Love is an energy. Now, see it from this perspective. God is love. I'm pretty sure we could all agree on that. But God is all things. God is not one way. God is not some way. God is not sometimes. God is all the time because God is constant. But one thing that I love with God, God does what is required. That is love, my good one. God does what is required. God is not one word. God is not sometimes. God is not maybe. God is not like, I'm on break today. God is not like, okay, you ain't been good. You've been bad. No, God is constant. Love is an energy, my good one. If we come to know God, then we could go about applying love to ourselves because in this predicament, God tells Abraham, I want you to sacrifice the boy. Now, in our mindset, we can't see past that. Like, I'll share the story with you. Yesterday, my daughter comes forth. For a while now, I've been telling her I want her to read the Bible. So she's embarked upon her journey. And she gets to the part where Lot. So where the two angels appear and they go into Lot's house. But the people of that village, they wanted the angels, whatever they wanted to do with them. So my daughter was somewhat irritated by the story in that, how is it that he gonna give up his daughters and not give up the angels? So I could see that it's something that really troubled her. And in being troubled by it, I showed her, you still do not know love. Because we are here to serve the divine. Now, he could have picked who he wanted to save, but he knew that the workers of the divine were here for a purpose. He didn't know what purpose they were here for, but he knew that they don't come around every day. And why should I go against God? Because God already knew the answer. God just wants you to figure out the answer. So in that, all tests is just to go about seeing what you're going to go about doing. God wasn't going to let anything happen to the daughters. God wasn't going to let anything happen to the angels. God just wants to see what choice you will make. Miles, you got a phone? They got the Bible. They got the Bible app on the phone. Whenever you get your little spare time, read it for yourself. Don't let nobody go about filling you up with things. Whenever you got a little break, start from the beginning. If you got questions, bring it. I'm here for you. Don't even worry. It's more about building understanding. And that is the key. Okay, you could also listen to the word. So the thing that we need to go about is putting forth effort. And in putting forth effort, then that will help us to get to that better place in our life. You follow? So as she goes, she's like, oh, okay. In the Bible app. I think there is a audible version in the Bible app, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, so yeah, you can have somebody read the Bible to you while you do something else. You follow, but like what I always try to go about telling everybody, whenever you're starting off on a journey, leave the perception behind. Leave judgmental alone and just ask that you go about receiving and seeing what is there. That is the key. That is the key. So, okay. And that's what I love about it. I want it to be a network where we go about helping one another out. Ecclesiastes says God requires that which is the past. He knows what's up. We're just seeing it for the first time and figuring it out. Okay. uh, yeah. How do you get out of the slump when you try to read your Bible and pray more and you just feel like no one's listening? And okay, I love the energy today, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's address Mark. Mark, energy is constant, like I said earlier. Energy is constant. So that's what love is. Life comes at us at our level of understanding. And if we allow ourselves to go about being open to what is coming forth, then we go about receiving the information. I don't know if I'm now, Charlene. The one good thing that you have going on right now is this. Know and slow yourself down, because at times we become so anxious that we want a here and now, but life does not work in our accord. We have to allow ourselves to become one with the situation. And what I mean by that, I'm going to say this. From now on, when you go about reading the Bible, I want you to do this. Find your little quiet place or whatever. Get some water. Wash your hands and cleanse your face. It'll make sense when it happens. But as you're doing that, you say, reveal to me what is hidden so that I may go about seeing. By doing this, you must leave your perceptions behind. You must not be judgmental, and you must not go into the scriptures believing you know. You will have become a student to life, and allowing life to go about showing you. A lot of times we go into something with a preamp next and so forth, but because it does not resonate the way how we want it to be, then there's a letdown. But just do that for me. And the the thing that I don't want to over compound the situation in this, that you must settle yourself. And in settling yourself, you could only deal with one thing at a time. And in dealing with things one step at a time, it will help us realize that what we applied here, we could also apply in different aspects of our lives. I like that advice for sure. Okay, blessings, blessings. It will help you to see what's hidden, and that is the key that we must go forth with. The spirit is all around. It's looking for a way to go about giving you the advice. The best way I could go about putting that into illustration would be this. Let's say you're walking across a pond, but you do not know this pond. This is the first time you're visiting this pond, and the water is a moving at a rapid rate. If you move your steps too much, the water will become murky and you will not know your steps. Also, how do you help a new believer who has been hurt and abused so many times? Okay, let me continue addressing the obscurity thing in that, because if you continue moving your foot at a rapid pace, the water will become murky and you will not know the next best step to take. But if you would just settle yourself, stay still. There's a quote in there, be still and know that I am God. Settle yourself. The water, all the sediments from the bottom of the lake will begin to settle, and then you will know your next step. Now, if we go about using that in application, if we're all over the place, if we're doing too many different things, how could we ever go about receiving the message or the word? Because our attention span is elsewhere. And because it's elsewhere, we have no time in allowing that word to come through. So we must settle ourselves to go about receiving. Now, so how do you help a new believer who has been burnt out? The one thing that I would like to go about illustrating is that the main topic of today's discussion was forgiveness. And that would be the one thing that I would start off with for that person. That person has to go about forgiving themselves. That would be my starting point to help anybody who has been through anything traumatic. Let it be to alcohol, let it be to drugs, let it be to different varying things. But they would have to go about starting with forgiving themselves. They would have to go about looking at why they're holding on to the resentment, the bitterness, the anger, and so forth. Because if you don't forgive yourself, there's no way you're going to be able to forgive others. Forgiveness starts from within. And when you go about forgiving yourself, then you let go of the power that others have held over you for so long. So that's why I believe it's okay, I think let's try to be respectful on the channel. People are asking serious questions. I don't have no problem with your political affiliation and so forth. But okay, well, if that's the name of your channel, man, okay. Um, so yeah, so just um, if whenever you have that chance with that person, go back and watch the live and see how there's things that you could go about applying that the person needs to go about addressing, and in forgiving self, that it would be the starting point to where the journey of loving self and embarking would be something that is rewarding for that person. Yeah, like I said, if that's the name of your channel, I don't think you would let your mom watch that channel. That would be kind of disrespectful. But hey, um, like what I always try to tell everybody, what displays is showing others. We always want to give respect. Thank you, brother. I needed to hear this. Trickster. Okay, bless up. Love it. I'm loving that the message is reaching out, and I'm loving that the positivity is starting to grow, and that I'm trying to give information and material that is applicable in everyday life. Yes, there are certain things you could read, but there's certain things I need for application to be the standard bearer in which you go about carrying yourself. The way how you present yourself is a clear illustration of your mental and the way how you go about perceiving life. Life is not a joke. You need to start taking yourself more seriously so others could take you seriously. Fun and games is one thing, but there's a placement and timing for that. We become what we practice the most. If we think life is a joke, we become a joke. Life is serious business. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. Okay. Mark, let's see what Mark says. Ecclesiastic 34:19 speaks of the fouling, the water that your feet to go along with your prayer. Oh, man, Mark, I love it. I love it. I love it. Bless up to that. And it's just more about when we're all over the place, then we can't receive the information that we need to proceed forward. So we must settle ourselves. CC Ryder, absolutely. Bless up, bless up. Love it. I love it. So, yeah, so that's the thing, man. Forgiveness is that key that we have to go about applying to ourselves, to our daily life, and to just becoming a way of life. That's what we need to start going about doing, is seeking forgiveness in everything that we do. Give me a sec right quick. I'll be right back. One sec. We have to answer to the Almighty, judge in the end. Every word and action you do will be judged. Facts. Gratitude generates forgiveness. Right on. I love it. I love the energy. I love the energy that everybody coming with. Here's you. Man, just like a dream come through right here. Everybody reaching out and embracing and picking up one another. That's all we could ask for. That's all we could ask for in that essence right there. Because it's our job to go about helping one another as we go along the way. Indeed. So everything we do, man, we must look within ourselves so that we go about the nonsense that's taking place in our lives. Just because somebody speak ill, that don't mean you entertain it. You follow. Be okay. Be okay, and just knowing that you walk your steps. You're trying to make your way, and hold on to that positivity. Yeah, had a bad little connection there. You know they're gonna try to throw your boy off, but hey, like what I keep trying to tell them, this movement can't be stopped. We in it to win it, baby, and we here to do the work. So just know that this is a work in progress, and this work will not be stopped. So look for ways, man. Look for ways that you can go about finding peace with yourself. And in you finding peace with yourself, then that'll be a good thing for you to go about living in a more harmonious way with yourself. And forgiveness is just letting go. That's all forgiveness is. It's not holding on to all these different worthless emotions, you follow. Because sometimes, despite the hurt, we put ourselves in a position that we leave ourselves becoming victimized because destructive. If what is said or being done to you holds on to you, then okay. Gotta go. Okay, brother. Hey, Mark, be blessings be with you, man. Hey, keep on looking for that truth in life, man. I try to do my little lives every on midday. I call it the midday refresher. You follow, despite how your day started off, we here to
re-energized to keep that movement going. And not to Fortnite. Okay. Hey, blessings for coming back, man. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, I was telling Mark thanks for the support, the engagement, and telling him that, hey, that midday re-energize, you follow? And once we go about re-energizing it, then, hey, everything gonna take fold and it's gonna do what it do. So just know that forgiveness is about letting go, man. Letting go. And you can't want to receive something if your hands is tight. If they clutch real tight, you can't receive nothing else. But if you let go of that BS that you're holding on to, then that gives you the capability for you to go about receiving. And that's what I was talking about earlier. A lot of our blessings is coming, but because we still holding on, our blessings passes by. It can't be one and the same. You got to make that choice. Either you gonna let go of it and move forward, or you can hold on to that BS and stay right where you at. Because I'll be the first to tell you, that's not gonna get you nowhere in life. Time goes forward. Time does not go backward. So we need to stop holding on to the concept of living in yesterday. And that's all we're doing. We're going about holding on to yesterday's trauma and believing that will help us to feel better today. Not until we go about releasing ourselves from these things, then we will have gone about making progress. So let it be, man. Let forgiveness find its way in your life. Let forgiveness be a part of your way of doing things. And once you can do that, it's a start that you need. So everything has a start and everything has an end. Make it so that your start is today. Make it so that you want to go about fighting for yourself. I could only take you to the door. You have to be the one to walk through it. I could only show you the way. It's your journey to go about taking. And when you go about taking that journey, just come to know that you're doing this for you. This is not for anybody else. So, love yourself. Don't beat up yourself. Don't hold back. Don't blame yourself. But embrace yourself. Because once you love you, that is a beautiful thing right there. So, I think I've took up a lot of your time, and I'm thankful for y'all for hanging out with me, staying with me, and sharing. But I'm doing the midday lives, that refresher, they get right, and so forth. If there's anything that you guys would like for me to go about addressing, put it in the comment section. Reach out. Last thing is the calendar sales for the less fortunate. If you know any organization, we did it for battered women one year. Sudan, we did blankets for the homeless. So if you know of any worthwhile people that could go about using, because we donate the proceeds from the calendar sales that I sell, And if you know anybody who would like to support, this is not an LLC, this is not a nonprofit, this is just a movement in which we're trying to go about promoting us helping one another. So if you would like to buy a calendar, let me know, reach out, and then go from there. I'll let my people get in contact with you and then get them into particulars and so forth. So it's more about a movement of helping one another, because there's so much work to be done. There's so much work to be done, and we have to quit looking at everybody else to go about doing it when we are capable of stepping up and doing what is needed. So that's one of the things. So I'll leave you with that. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy. Reflect. Look at how we could make an upliftment, and look at how we can start doing things from a better place. Love you guys till I see y'all again. 1.